Mully Haugh, Chicago Sports Radio 6-7 to the score. Zach Zaidman filling in for David today, and we are delighted to welcome in the Cubs skipper. He is David Ross. He joins us as all guests do on the Score Hotline, presented to you by Soda Weight Loss. Visit sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA. David, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing great, and it's a joy to talk to you, and it's a lot of fun to talk to you when your team has expectations. We haven't seen you guys have to deal with that. You've been through a dark period maybe, but now everybody in town kind of pumped up and expecting big things. It's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good vibe around camp. I mean, I think the expectations internally are always extremely high, and you try to get the most out of everybody, but we've got, names and hardware and guys with real awards, championship caliber players that have proven on the biggest stage. So definitely exciting, good vibe around camp. Guys are into the routines, bringing good energy and understand what it takes to get prepared for 162.
Hey, Rossi, has the routine changed because of all the new rules that are going to be implemented? Meaning, are drills different getting ready for all the new stuff that's going to take place?
Yeah, we're going over the new rules. So we've had two meetings on just making sure we're locked in on what the language of the rules are and what the intention is, and then the live VPs are set to clocks. We're making sure that we're calling guys out on if they're not in the box on time as far as hitters, and just making sure they know. First day, like a guy like Justin Steele, one of his tendencies was to get the ball and rub it up on the mound. You can buy yourself a couple of extra seconds if you get that ball off the dirt and in the grass, and go through some of your nuances to get ready to pitch. So just finding that new rhythm of our game. I think the rhythm is what I'm trying to say, that we all play at. There's a rhythm to what's going on in our game. It's going to have to pick up just a little bit, and the guys are getting used to that.
Do you like the new rules? Is there any one you like more than others?
I think I'm a big wait and see guy. They are the new rules, and I haven't felt them yet. We hadn't gotten games quite yet. That starts tomorrow, and we'll start to feel some of those, what those feel like. And, I'm a wait and see. I think the product on the field from everything that I've heard is the pace of the game, and, getting games in under 3 hours has been a priority for a little bit, and the fans' attention span and how the game is played. I think we'll see a lot of action. I actually love the no shift stuff and letting the athletes play. There'll be more hits go through. It's going to elevate some of the defensive stuff we'll see, and I think that's exciting for our game, and it'll actually probably get more guys on base with these guys that hit the ball on the ground to one side. You've got a bunch of fielders over on one side of the field. I think that's exciting. Now, if it plays in our favor, I'm always going to be in favor of it. And if it hurts us, I'm going to hate it. So that's just kind of the competitor in me.
Do you think that, at least from a catching standpoint, and you talked about action, are we going to see more stolen bases? Because I know you were kind of forced to let your team run a lot more last year because of the lack of power. Do you think just naturally, based on these rules, we're going to see more of that?
Yeah, I do think that. I think the minor league numbers show that stolen bases have gone up. I think getting to the next base is important to me, and especially if you don't have the home run hitters. Like you said, we didn't have a whole lot of those guys last year, just a lineup full of thumpers like we did when I first started managing. So I think you adjust to your team, but I think as far as the league goes, from everything I've heard, stolen base went up in the minor leagues. I would assume that would kind of transcend up to us and be one of those things that teams are going to look at. You got a little bit closer to the base. Those bang plays may be safe instead of out.
David, I'm curious, when you think about the middle infield defense and the way that you're anticipating these guys playing together, we had talked about what is essential for winning baseball with the new rules. And one of the things, obviously, you're going to have two shortstops in the middle infield. And that's kind of exciting because I think when we watched you guys win a World Series, you had like historic defense. So maybe it's hearkening back to those days.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I see it is we do have elite defense up the middle. You know, belly and center also add to that. I think our catching group is some of the better defensive catchers in our game. You know, Tucker Barnhart, 2 Gold Gloves, Jan Gomes, a finalist, 3 times. I think defense you can bring every single day. I think defense-based running fundamental baseball is important. Pitching and defense, I think, is a priority for me, and we're built that way. And we had a really nice second half as far as our pitching staff last year. So building on that, some guys still coming and continue to get better. We've always got to be pushing to get better, and I think we've got championship caliber players at the plate. But I think you can bring defense every single day, and hitting is kind of a little bit volatile. It comes and goes for each guy, and you're going to have waves of that. But I think pitching and defense should something that steadies us throughout the course of the season.
Mully described this as a dark period for you the last couple of years as the Cubs were retooling. But from a managerial standpoint, and I know there's this talk that, managers don't have as much of an emphasis in the game today as they did back in the day. But with you, where did you get better as a manager because of what transpired the last 2 years?
I think I evolve every single day, every game, every experience makes me better. The thought process, the things I have to work through, the patience you have to have, the implementing things that are important to a young group with not as much winning experience. And I think one thing looking back on and seeing young guys get better and me prioritizing and my staff prioritizing areas that we want to improve on and watching them go out and do those things and it helping us have a better second half. And then, the players being bought in and not giving up on a season where we're 20 games out, they continue to fight every single day. Those are the things that you look back on and you're proud of, but you understand like there was real significant growth. And I've got to continue to find those areas to continue to help us get better and push the guys forward in all that I believe. And I think, looking back and on the last couple of seasons, I think my patience grows every single day and understanding that, we want perfection. We're always going to be striving for perfection, but it's not a perfect game. It's an imperfect game. We're imperfect people, and you get good, talented group pushing all in the right direction. That's the way to start it.
David, Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic, he wrote a story about Willson Contreras, and in it, there were a lot of anonymous quotes and some anger from Willson in response, but in it, he wrote, Contreras' approach occasionally frustrated Cubs manager David Ross, a former catcher, and the team's coaching staff, according to sources. He said that Contreras prepared. He worked hard, but he did not always prepare and work the way the coaches wanted. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I mean, I read that article. Somebody sent me that. I don't think that there's much. I didn't see any facts in there that Ken wrote, and I respect Ken's ability and what he's done in this game. But I love Willson. I don't have any bad things to say about Willson. And I would, as a former catcher, I would give real pause to anybody questioning game calling and preparation. Unless you've caught, you should never be commenting on those things. I think Wilson's a championship caliber catcher. That's why he got such a big contract. I think the industry showed you what kind of worth he has. And, he's a brother for life for me, World Series brother. I don't have any negative things to say about Willson. That guy went out every single day and played hard, played for this organization extremely hard, was a part of a lot of winning here. So, without bashing anybody that writes stuff, I didn't see anything in that article that would give any, credibility to that, like you said, anonymous stuff and,
right.
and no factual stuff. Wilson's a really good player, and 3-time All-Stars, only a couple of those in Chicago Cubs history. I think the frustration on my end always comes with losing and trying to find ways to do that. So that's probably all I have to say about that.
Did you talk to him at all? Do you wait till you play him and then you tell him, or how does that work?
Yeah, I talked to him after he signed his contract. I didn't talk to him. I don't call people because somebody wrote an article.
Okay, fair enough.
That doesn't.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've got a relationship with Willson that goes way back, a lot deeper than being his manager. So I called him to congratulate him on his contract. We talked for a little bit, wished him the best, and told him we were going to try to kick his butt when we played him. And he reiterated the same. So yeah.
Rossi, when it comes to pitching, and obviously it always starts with pitching, when it comes to winning games in Major League Baseball, can you take us through kind of the thought process of trying to fill that number 5 spot in the rotation until Kyle Hendricks gets healthy, and then why this team has had so much success navigating through so many different bullpen arms over the last few years, and how you go about finding that right mix for you?
Well, we got a couple guys. I think some of the guys that put themselves on the map last year, Adrian Sampson had a really nice year. He'll be competing for that 5th spot, along with Hayden Wisniewski, Javier Saad. We've got guys that are going to, be in the mix for that back end of the rotation spot. And, we've also done a really nice job, to your point, in the bullpen. These, our front office and our pitching group identified some free agents that might be undervalued or have things that we can improve on or help with. I wouldn't say improve on, say help with. And then it's all about the players, man. The players go out and perform, like no secret, Andrew Chafin, Ryan Tepera, David Robertson. I'm going to miss somebody, a lot of, Michael Givens. There's a lot of guys. Yeah. Like Chris Martin, all these guys coming in have had some success, and whether there's an injury history or some things didn't go right for the back end of the half of a season. And I think we identified people that we don't want to give up on, and we're not always right. And I say we as a group, I'm not identifying those guys. They give me those guys, and we try to, with me and Tommy and CY and Dan Moscos and our group, we try to set guys up for success and what their strengths and weaknesses are and put them in the right spot to succeed. And we've done a nice job of that. That's also very much year to year. And at the end of the day, the players got to go out and perform. And they've done a really nice job of that. So I would love to give the credit to our organization that's done a nice job of doing that. But the real credit goes to the players.
David, love talking to you. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, always. You have a great day.
You too. That is David Ross.